Yes, that is Pale Waves with Perfume. We're going to interrupt our regularly scheduled program over at KRHV. Why? Well, because it's Friday and we've got this little program called ACE, Arts, Culture, and Entertainment, where we bring in local legends. Some of them have to earn the right to be called that, and today we have one of those. No, just kidding, Wendy. We do have Wendy Schneider, the Executive Director with Friends of the Inyo. Let's hear the Friends of the Inyo spot, and we'll get right into our conversation.
Friends of the Inyo is a charitable non-profit organization working to protect and care for the public lands of the Eastern Sierra. We serve all of Mono and Inyo counties, focusing on public land stewardship and policy issues, dealing with anything from water conservation to the prevention of destructive mining on public lands to education about the importance of leaving no trace when enjoying nature. Want to get involved? Visit us at friendsoftheinyo.org or write to us at info@friendsoftheinyo.org. Hablamos Español.
Yes, indeed. Friendsoftheinyo.org. We're going to be talking about a lot of things and events that are going to be happening. So if you're driving right now and you're like, okay, I would love to do something that we're going to talk about, just remember friendsoftheinyo.org and you'll get all the information that you need. But we do have a legend in the house. All right. I was kidding before about saying you have to earn your stripes. Wendy Schneider is amazing, Executive Director with friendsoftheinyo.org. How long have you been with Friends of the Inyo, Wendy?
I've been executive director for about 7.5 years now.
Okay, still liking it?
Oh yeah, love it every day.
It's you, right?
Absolutely.
Well, what led you to this position as the executive director?
Yeah, well, I guess really my passion for wild places, and especially when those are existing in big mountains, that I'm just really passionate about. But I was a lawyer for many years, like 25 years, and practiced in Los Angeles, and then moved up here with my family, and this opportunity came up, and I'm really excited to have been able to. I'm glad they had confidence in me, and I'm really loving my work, and yeah, still after 7.5 years, very excited about it every day.
That's good. Now, what kind of law did you practice when you were in LA?
Litigation, civil litigation.
Okay, so the similar type of thing that what you're doing now?
No, not at all. But
completely the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say that I practiced civil litigation at big law firms for over 20 years, and it gave me a lot of training that I'm able to use in this job for sure. Because writing a motion is the same thing as writing a grant proposal. It's just persuasive writing.
Okay. You're a good person to have on our team up here in the Eastern Sierra. All right, so the Friends of the Inyo, how long has, for those who may not know, how long has Friends of the Inyo been active?
Oh, Friends of the Inyo was founded in 1986. So we're coming up on our 40-year anniversary. And we've been protecting and caring for the Eastern Sierra for a very long time.
And when you say protecting, are you out there with picketing, or is it the grant writing, or a little bit of all of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, it's a little bit of all of that. I mean, we do advocacy work, meaning we, engage with the federal land managers to try to make sure that conservation is our number one priority. We protect against destructive projects like, extraction for gold. We are pushing back against water extraction, especially in Inyo County. But we also have folks that, and I'm going to talk about this today, that get out on the land and pick up trash and move logs out of the way and teach people leave no trace and how to recreate responsibly.
Yes, highly respected here in the Eastern Sierra for sure. All right, I wanted to ask, how was this last season gone? Have you had some big major wins over the last year? I know you have. It's a leading question, of course, and everybody who knows Friends of the Inyo is like, of course, yeah, we know all of this. But tell us, how has the last year been for Friends of the Inyo?
Oh, great. Actually, both on the advocacy side and on the stewardship side. I mean, one of the biggest things that has happened in the last 12 months, and I think most people around here know this, is that we successfully pushed back against a big mining exploration project that would have created a lot of dust and noise and light 24/7 right in the Hot Creek area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good. Now, it's a big process that goes into this. In your position, it seems to me, when you're feeling like you've got something that is so important, first personally and then to our area, is it super stressful for you, or do you just kind of say one day at a time? What is your philosophy on handling such a big project, or something that you have to go against and that it's important?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for asking that. And this is something something that I have to talk a lot about with my staff, because the kind of work that we do does feel like pushing a rock up a hill every day. It always feels like the deck is stacked against you, and defeats are permanent and victories are temporary. And so that gets really hard. So, but yeah, you just have to take it one day at a time, and you just have to do your best and be able to say, I did everything I could, or Friends of the Inyo did everything they could to protect this healthy ecosystem, to protect this species, to keep this place wild.
Right. Are there some other season highlights that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I would like to talk about our stewardship work, which, because we are up in the mountains and there's snow on the ground a lot of the year, we have to push it into about 2.5 months every year. But one of the things that our stewardship program, I guess our flagship part of our stewardship program is our Trail Ambassador program. And so we had 5 this year, Trail Ambassadors. We hire as many as we can, kind of depending on the funding that we get. And one of the things they do is lead big volunteer events and do big projects. And we work, of course, with the Inyo National Forest and other forests to identify the projects and get trained to do them safely. But one of the things they did was they took a bunch of volunteers and went out to the Tunnel Meadow area in Golden Trout Wilderness and dismantled defunct grazing fence. We took down over 3,000 pounds of barbed wire, electric fence, and posts and move it out of there. And that's really important because it's dangerous for wildlife. Deer get hung up in it, birds get hung up in it, and you got to get it out of there.
Now, who does all that? Is it you?
And it's not me, but we hire strong, capable people, and a lot of strong, capable people volunteer, and we work with folks from the Forest Service, and we get out there in our old 4-wheel drive trucks with tons of clearance and get that garbage out of the wilderness.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. And anything else?
We also organized a super successful event at Rock Creek, and we collected over 60 pounds of trash, again, in partnership with lots of volunteers from the lakeshore, the trails, and the surrounding areas. And we want to give a big thanks to Rock Creek Lakes Resort for hosting us and providing ice cream vouchers, which was super exciting and appreciated. And I also want to say that we have been working on a new boardwalk on the Upper Rock Creek Trail, which people have been up there will see is badly in need of repair. And we had some volunteers, about a dozen out there all day, that dismantled the old rotten section, hauled in new materials, and got it assembled. These were amazing volunteers that did a really long day out there. And there is another section that needs to be done, and we need $15,000. So we have a GoFundMe call out right now, and if folks want to help with these efforts, we would love to finish this job, but we need more materials to do so.
Okay, is the link on the website?
Absolutely.
So friendsoftheinyo.org. And if you've got 15 grand right now, I can't think of a better way of putting it. Honestly, it's like, some of us, are fortunate. We've got a ton of dough, and it's just like, where are you going to put it? And can I get a plaque if I donate the 15?
100%. Okay, we'll give you a plaque. We'll take you out on an exciting outing. We have
nice.
Lots of things we do for our high donors, to make their experience special. And I just want to say, boardwalks are important because they're up to protect safety of the recreators, to create more accessibility. And then they also protect the ecosystem because they keep people from tromping through the mud or making new trails trying to go around the mud and stuff. Right. So it may seem like a small thing, but especially in a high traffic area like that, boardwalks are really important.
Yeah, very, very good. Wow, that's great. There's a couple of great things. Is there more that you're wanting to talk about, or want to talk about the stuff that's coming up?
Oh, I would like to talk. Yeah, those were the ones I was going to mention as season highlights.
Those are really good. Yeah, excellent. All right, so we've got these trail ambassadors, and you've got 5. That's really awesome. I think when I first started some years ago, it wasn't quite that many. Yeah,
we started with just 1.
It was 1.
And then we went to a 1.5.
That's good. All right, so we got 5 of them, and they're called interpretive hikes, right? And do they get to choose the types of hikes that they take people on, or are you telling them? How does that work? Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that they love about this position is, they choose the subject of their interpretive hike, and it's not even necessarily a hike.
Okay. So tell us, what are some of the things going on?
Yeah, they just get to do something that they're passionate about. So we have, for example, we had yoga at Poconobe, but the last one was this morning. Right. So, you've missed that one if you wanted to do yoga at Poconobe, nature yoga. But we have, each of the trail ambassadors has one more coming up, left this season. And the one at Rock Creek, which I am likely to go to, is edible and medicinal plants of the east side. So we have a trail ambassador who's very knowledgeable about that and put together a short walk, looking at certain plants and talking about their medicinal value.
That's this Saturday, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Cool. So that's what time does that start?
9 a.m.
It's right first thing in the morning. Okay, so cool. Wow. I think that would be valuable just to know what you can eat if you ever get in a situation where you're out there. What is it that is going to be good for you, and what is going to have medicine qualities?
Absolutely, yeah, and I've done these types before with other trail ambassadors who are knowledgeable about that, and it's super interesting. Also,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, again, we're going to be listing a bunch of these, right? So, friendsoftheinyo.org for more information. But what the Friends of the Inyo has is this little newsletter called Juniper, and it's really awesome, and it gives you a monthly update of all of the things that are happening. It might even be weekly. No, I think it's monthly. Yeah. And because I remember just seeing it, I think it was just this morning.
It came out this morning.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, why is it so fresh in my memory? Because I look at it and it's like, okay, what am I going to do this month? And I schedule my month and what I'm going to do, because they do such a great job. So kudos to you and your entire team for doing what you do. Like we mentioned earlier, sometimes it can be a little bit tireless, and other times it's like super fun. We get to talk about what we want to talk about. All right. So what else we got this Saturday? 8. Sierra Foraging, Plant Medicine, and Wild Edibles of the Eastern Sierra Interpretive Hike at Rock Creek. All right, what else we got you?
So next weekend, the last geology walk in the Bennetville area is happening. Mm-hmm. And that meets up, so if you guys know where Bennetville is, I think they're meeting up in that direction to take off on that walk. And that one I've heard great things about. Is super interesting.
Well, one of the good things about not knowing a place is that you have the opportunity to explore it. If somebody's going, Bennetville, what's going on over there? It's a good opportunity to say, okay, I haven't been to Bennetville. This will get me there.
Yeah,
right,
and
cool.
It's just a super interesting area.
Yeah, Saturday the 7th. All right, cool. What else we get?
So I would say one of my personal affectionate favorites, Sierra Snakes, up at Bridgeport in the Twin Lakes area on September 14th is the last one. And I am particularly interested in snakes because one of my children is a self-described snake nut. And I've gone out, we call it herping. That's like when you go out looking for snakes and to find them and admire them and move them to safety if they're in danger. And I love snakes. And this is a really interesting walk that I've also heard great things about.
Now, do they have an app for that to locate snakes? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, because I don't know that I've seen that many snakes personally. Maybe I'm loud and they get scurry off.
Yes, probably that's why they leave. And my son tells me snakes are widely misunderstood and hated for no reason. Most snakes are not aggressive and they will get out of your way. Lots of people are afraid of snakes, but they're not coming after you. And they're an important part of our ecosystem. Plus, they're super cool, and you should do your best to take care of them.
Absolutely. Saturday the 14th. What's your son's name?
Manny, hey, how you doing? If you're listening right now, it's an awesome thing to be interested in for sure. All right, so that's going to be in Bridgeport, the interpretive hike from 9 a.m. to 12. Now, do I have to sign up for these interpretive hikes? Is it helpful to you to do that? Yeah, if you just show up and there's space, that's fine. But it is helpful if you sign up. And in some of these areas, the Forest Service puts a restriction on how many people we can take out because they want to manage the impact to the land. You can sign up on the website, friendsoftheinyo.org, and we have an events tab, and that's where you'll find all of the dates and times of this stuff, and you can sign up.
Okay. All right, what else we got? Those are great.
Yeah,
and there's others in between these times. You're just picking out a couple here.
No, these are the last 5. So,
right, but you mentioned this weekend, and then you jumped right over to the snake walk, which I think is awesome. But there's a bunch going on. So I guess what I want to say is that if you're feeling like maybe the dates don't work for you, but you want to get out there are some other events that are happening. Friendsoftheinyo.org, hit the events page, and then sign up for the Juniper. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. So on September 21st, two things. That's Bella's last walk on the Whitney Trail, the Stroll and Stretch. And there is an art aspect to that one as well. And also on September 21st is the Great Sierra River Cleanup. Okay. And this is an event we're doing in collaboration with the Eastern Sierra Land Trust down in Bishop in the Artesian Wells area. And this is always a super popular event every year, and we encourage people to sign up and get out there and help us clean up the river.
All right, awesome. We got the Mount Whitney Stroll and Sketch and Artistry Interpretive Morning Hike. That's at Mount Whitney Interpretive Hike, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Of course, for information and maybe to what to wear and things like that as well. I mean, I think most of us up here kind of know that we need closed-toe shoes and that kind of thing. But it's always nice to know, bring extra water and have a little checklist, and the website will give you that. But also the Great Sierra River Cleanup, very popular down in Bishop. That's also on September 21st. At 9 to noon, a Great Sierra River Cleanup. Awesomeness. For all of the events, friendsoftheinyo.org. And I guess that's going to wrap up the season because we have, or is there others?
There's one more on September 28th, the cyanotype hike at the Heart Lake Trail in Mammoth. And folks walk up there and create cyanotypes from some of the flowers or leaves that they see on that trail. Had a tremendous number of wildflowers this year. So it's a really great experience.
All right. Mammoth Lakes Basin Interpretive Hike, cyanotype. I don't know that I've ever seen that word before.
Yeah, it's when you take something, you put it on the blue paper, and you expose it to the sun, and it creates like a shadow art.
Now, are these good for all ages?
Absolutely, yeah.
Kiddos over there?
Yeah, and they're specifically good for all ages. So, you don't have to be able to run a marathon to be able to engage in any of these events. They're very friendly for children and, people who may not be able to walk 10 miles at 14,000 feet. It's not a problem.
And one of the things I do like is that it'll tell you that it's like 1.5 miles. So you know like what you're getting into on some level. But that is the Mammoth Lakes Basin Interpretive Hike and cyanotype. I learn something new every day. The creation, that's September 28th from 9 a.m. to noon. Awesomeness. Well, Wendy, it is a pleasure speaking with you. What are some of the things that you have to look forward to in the fall? What do you guys do in the fall and the winter time? Is this a grant writing time for you, or is that always that?
Well, it does actually attend you. We do have grant reporting is usually pretty intense at the end of the year. So both for the stewardship program and for the advocacy program, yes, you have guessed correctly that fall is pretty intense for reporting, getting in numbers, deliverables and stuff to the folks that fund us in hopes that they will fund us again next year. Yeah. And also on the advocacy side, one area that we have been working hard to protect since the 80s in southern Inyo County is, the desert lands down there, including Conglomerate Mesa. And there's a very big mining exploration proposal with lots of proposed roads to be built and pads and stuff. And we'll be engaging really heavily in pushing back against that. So that's something that's going to be happening this fall that we're going to be focused on.
Okay, for those listening right now, what is the best thing that we can do for Friends of the Inyo?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Please sign up for the Juniper, because one of the things that we will do is to organize public comment, which means we will ask people and organizations and electeds to weigh in and say, hey, we have concerns about this, and here's what they are. And if you can submit a comment, that helps us defend the area.
Absolutely. You do a great job, and a lot of respect. I mean, I can't say for the world, but for me personally, you do a great job, very passionate, and consistently passionate. That's one of those things. We can definitely have the ebbs and flows of how hard we go, and you were very consistent with it, and you have a great attitude with your staff and helping them understand that it's it does feel difficult at times, but just stay the course, and we'll move that boulder eventually, and you have, and there's a lot to be said for that. So thank you. Is there something that I have not asked you that you'd like to share with our listeners?
Actually, no. I think that's a wrap. Yeah, absolutely. As usual, you've done a fantastic job with the interview.
See, I was looking for that accolade the whole time. How do I earn Wendy's respect? Ladies and gentlemen, we have Wendy Schneider, the executive director with Friends of the Inyo, with us. friendsoftheinyo.org for all of the events that we talked about, for volunteer opportunities. They're always looking for volunteers. That is a huge aspect of what makes it work. But 5 trail ambassadors this year. That's good. I'm stoked for that. All right, so I always ask our guest to choose a song. Have you chosen a song or just an artist, or what did you do?
Yes, I did. I chose Rearrange Us by Mount Joy.
Okay, is there a particular... I'm going to throw you under the bus. Is there a particular reason why... Oh my gosh, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you on our ACE program. Mount Joy, Rearrange Us. Have a great rest of the day.
Call your phone just to see it glow, and you were naked in the flashing light, white on white, your hair dangling just right. I wondered if you knew what we were supposed to do. 'Cause it seems like a short life, but it feels like a long time when I remember everything. In another time, I made up my mind that you were perfect in the flash of light. If I tried, I made this thing work right. And when the future saw you, I was every point of view. 'Cause it seems like a short life, but it feels like a long time when I remember everything. Come on, rearrange us and tell us that the pain don't change much at all. It's just a part of growing up. It seems like a short life. Seems like a short life. Yeah, it seems like a short life. It seems like a short life with you.
Yes, Mount Joy with Rearrange Us. All right. The legendary Wendy Schneider with us, the Executive Director of Friends of the Inyo. I want to say thanks to her and all of the folks over at Friends of the Inyo for doing what they do. All right, to our KRHV listeners, we're going to send you back to your regularly scheduled program. Hey, KMMT, let's get back after the music, shall we?